Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Framingham State University on this beautiful, joyous day. One of the things we do need to do is try to fit as many people as we can into this auditorium. So if you've got seats next to you, can you scooch and try to sit next to each other so that we can then fit more people in? We understand that you may be saving seats, we respect that, but if there are extra seats, it would be great for us to know. So if you could kind of scooch together so that we know where the extra seats are, that will help us, and we'll be able to get started a little quicker. Thank you, everybody. Talk to you in a bit.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Kristen Porter Utley. I'm the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs at Framingham State University, and it's wonderful to have you here today for the university's 2023 Graduate Commencement Ceremony. If you're not already standing, please rise for the national anthem, sung by our very own Heather Welsh, current students entering the Indigenous graduating program. Oh, can you sing by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's gleaming, whose stripes and bright stars all the heavenly find. All the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets and their bombs bursting in air gave our men that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you, Heather. Please be seated. Our graduate students represent a tremendous collection of brain power, talent, and perseverance. They have worked incredibly hard to make it here, balancing the demands of their classwork with full-time jobs and family responsibilities. And now, all of those very long nights, those frantic dinners, and little sleep have absolutely paid off. I welcome all family members and friends of those about to graduate whose support and encouragement have greatly contributed to their success. I also want to extend a very warm welcome to the many faculty here today who have shared their knowledge, time, expertise with our students to help make this day possible. A special thank you to the graduate and continuing education staff for supporting our students throughout their education and for helping them make today's celebration a great success. It is now my pleasure to introduce our wonderful president, Dr. Nancy Nemi, president of Framingham State University.
Good morning and welcome parents, family, and friends of those about to graduate. Welcome dedicated faculty, trustees, alumni, and honored guests. Most importantly, welcome graduates and congratulations. To begin the ceremony, I'll ask everyone to join me in a moment of silent reflection to give thanks for everything you have accomplished, for the support and guidance of family, friends, faculty, and staff, and to honor those who are no longer with us. Thank you. Not only is FSU one of the leading public institutions in our region, but for more than 30 years, the reach of our graduate education at Framingham State has been international. We are thrilled and honored that among our graduates this morning are students from our international program sites in China, Trinidad, Mexico, Costa Rica, Panama, and Honduras. Welcome. We are so happy you're here today. Your presence is a wonderful reminder that the work we do has global impact. Today, we celebrate your learning. You have made the investments of time, finances, and energy while sacrificing others in order to develop a body of knowledge, perspectives, and skills that will allow you to move further in the direction of your dreams. Your master's degree builds on your prior learning and comes, for many of us, after we have spent some time in the world. Our younger selves enter jobs, have families, and have other life adventures with a bachelor's degree in hand, and it takes time to figure out just what in heaven's name we are doing with it. Even if one goes straight from a bachelor's program to a master's program, or separate programs like a 4+1 or a 3+2, you're figuring out if, or hoping that, the learning direction makes sense. Even if you need a master's degree to keep your job or as part of a required professional development, you had to have decided that you wanted to stay in that profession or go in the direction that you started. So, assuming that your decision to carry on with your education via learning makes sense to you, you have had the privilege of being able to connect what you learned in your master's program with your prior academic and professional and personal experiences and knowledge. You have scaffolding on which to build. I assume, I hope, you've had some aha moments during your master's program when you realized perhaps the elegance of a decision-making process that happened at work, or the opposite, when you realized why something doesn't work. You might also have understood something you learned as an undergrad much more deeply, or perhaps for the first time. You might have finally seen that your father or your son was right about something. A reading assignment in a grad school course might so deeply connect to something in your life that you simultaneously laugh and cry over its truth. You might guess that this happened to me in grad school. This degree now connects you to your future. You are hopefully much more certain about where you want this learning to help you go and grow. Your analytical and communication skills are now likely well honed. Your understanding of people and the ways in which we work together successfully are likely much deeper. And while you will now be a Master of Arts, of Education, of Public Administration, your pursuit of this degree demonstrates a commitment to fostering meaningful lifelong learning for yourself and others. You are much more able to help others be successful as well, which is to me one of the responsibilities of earning this degree. For we know that learning is not a solitary endeavor. Learning is always co-created through interactions with texts and teachers, through experience and reflection. It is one of the most powerful actions humans take, and you have done so over and over again in pursuit of greater impact on our world. The accomplishments in which all of you lay claim today are the product of some very significant collaborations, especially with your faculty and with your family and friends. So I ask you graduates, if you would please rise and turn and face all of the people who are here to celebrate today and join me in a gesture of thanks to everyone. All right. At this time, I'd also like to recognize a few groups of people here today who have helped you along the way, starting with our extraordinary faculty members. Would you please rise? Faculty members, anywhere. Faculty members. Members of our dedicated volunteer board of trustees, please stand. Our academic deans, please stand. My wonderful executive team, whom I rely on every single day, please stand. And if you are an FSU alum on the stage or in the audience, please rise. Oh yeah, look at that. Thank you. And now, to bring greetings on behalf of the Framingham State University Board of Trustees, please welcome Chair Kevin Foley.
Well, this is always a great day, seeing all of these graduates, so congratulations. It's a great honor, as both a trustee and a proud graduate of Framingham State, to represent the entire Board of Trustees and congratulate today's graduates. We know that you have worked very hard to earn your degree, and you should be very proud of that fact. All of us on the Board of Trustees are from regional business and professional community and are dedicated to advancing the vast opportunities offered by the university to our students. We assist President Nemi and her leadership team to strategically improve, develop, and strengthen Framingham State University. The trustees and President Nemi have made and will continue to make decisions to move the FSU campus forward based upon our confidence we have in the future of this university and its students and its graduates. With the incredible faculty and staff here at Framingham State and all the new strategic initiatives that have been and will be undertaken, we should all be optimistic about the future of this fine university. Graduates, I hope that you will take time to reflect on all you have accomplished in these past few years. You should be confident that you are well prepared for the challenges and opportunities that await you. On behalf of all of the trustees, congratulations and good luck as you move into the next phase of your lives.
Thank you, Trustee Foley. At this time, it is my great honor to introduce our commencement speaker, Marcy Mills, a proud graduate of Framingham State University's class of 1983. Marcy is a dynamic communicator who excels at fostering meaningful relationships, which is something I got to learn firsthand when I had the pleasure of spending time with her during a West Coast trip earlier this summer. After earning degrees in English and journalism at FSU, Marcy began a prolific career within the radio industry that has included national sales director positions at CBS Radio and Clear Channel. She was quick to recognize the shifting landscape from terrestrial radio into online streaming and took a job with Pandora in 2009, where she continues to serve as a senior sales executive today. Outside her professional work, Marcy is passionate about using her considerable skills, abilities, and resources to help those in need. For many years, she's been a volunteer and supporter of Los Angeles-based nonprofits, such as The People Concern and Venice Community Housing, organizations that provide shelter and support to homeless residents. She is also a supporter of environmental causes and organizations. Marcy credits her education at Framingham State with helping her achieve a successful and meaningful career. One of her great joys in life today comes from doing what she can to support the next generation of FSU graduates. Despite being on the West Coast, she returns to campus often guest lecturing and communications classes, and working with our development office to establish the Marcy Mills Dream Big Scholarship to support current students in need. She cares deeply about this institution and our students, and I know she is thrilled to speak with you all today. Please join me in welcoming to the podium our graduate commencement speaker, Marcy Mills.
Thank you. I should be cheering for you. Shouldn't be cheering for me. People will stand up here and when they're asked to speak, and they will tell you that this is an honor. I will tell you that this is the honor of a lifetime for me. So thank you so much for having me. It's also the world's greatest do-over because I did graduate from here and I did get a degree, but I did not wear a robe, I did not wear the gown, and I did not participate in my ceremony because, and women will understand this, my best friend for life was getting married that day. So am I gonna be a bridesmaid or am I gonna? So this is all new for me, and I'm loving this gown. Thank you. I wore a gown that day. I just didn't wear this gown. So I just want to thank President Nimi, it is with all my heart, for having me here today, and also Eric Gustafson, who is in charge of all things alumni and development here. And I'm also fortunate to call him a dear friend now. We work together closely. Please don't let this be your last day on campus, right? Get to know Eric, stay close to your university, and know that the future generations here of students need you. I grew up about 20 minutes from here in a big family. 3 out of 6 of us got our undergraduate degrees here. My older sister got her MSN. Her son, my nephew, got his MSN. My mother took courses in her 60s, and my oldest sister was a part-time professor. So the Mills footprints are all over this campus. I have giant respect for all of you because I didn't get a graduate degree. In fact, academically, I was sort of an average student. I didn't apply myself to my studies, but I was an enthusiastic student. I joined any group or club that would have me. After my classes, I worked on the newspaper, I worked on the yearbook, and I worked at the radio station. Growing up, I dreamed of moving to Los Angeles and working in the radio industry. I'm certain that because of the time I spent on this little radio station and this campus, I got to live that dream. I spent 20 plus years in broadcast radio, and I worked for some of the most respected broadcast companies like CBS and Disney and iHeart, in some of the greatest cities like Boston, New York, LA, San Francisco. I worked for talented leaders, I found great mentors, and every day I loved what I did. In 2009, I had the incredible opportunity to join the startup Pandora Internet Radio. It literally was just being built and just being discovered by listeners. Within just a couple of years, it grew to 80 million monthly users, and streaming radio was born. The founder, Tim Westergren, was not a radio guy. He was a musician with a band who, just like most musicians, wanted to get his music out to the world, but couldn't get any airplay on radio stations. So his goal was to democratize the music industry for unknown artists and songwriters. He believed that it was wrong that just a handful of people made $1 zillion, and so many talented people out there could not get their music out to the world. So he invented personalized radio with an endless supply of music. For the first time, by thumbing up and thumbing down, a user could actually build its own radio station. For listeners, it couldn't have come at a better time. Broadcast radio was taking shortcuts. They were playing a couple of hundred songs in a repeated loop all day long and ran about 10 commercials and a stop set. The user experience was terrible, and the audience was ripe for better radio. From an advertiser's perspective, it was a game changer. Instead of a brand serving an audio ad buried deep in a cluster of commercials and wondering if anybody ever heard it, we knew exactly who was listening, how old they were, where they lived, where they shopped, and what they bought. And unlike radio, we would never play a commercial to an empty room. Recently, I was listening to my Pandora on a smart speaker in my home, and at the end of an ad for barbecue sauce, it asked me if I wanted a coupon for the product and a recipe. I said yes, and they showed up in my email a few minutes later. And of course, for the unknown musician, all their music was now on the radio, and everybody was making money. All this happened because a guy didn't think the word musician should so often be preceded by the word struggling. Tim had a noble cause and a big dream, and he disrupted an industry that for far too long had not served its audience. Today, the streaming radio space is crowded. There are more choices, right? More niche music sites, and you can even pay for an ad-free subscription. In fact, most people do. There isn't an industry today that isn't changing at lightning speed because of new technology. Every one of you will enter an industry that is very different, has different challenges and different opportunities than it had when I graduated or even a year ago. Think about this. If you studied fashion merchandising when I was here, you probably learned about window displays and seasonal floor plans. Now cities are full of giant abandoned shopping malls, which some people in California are advocating to turn into low-income housing, and some others are building pickleball courts in them. Meanwhile, with all this vacant retail space, apparel manufacturers still have the same challenge, right? They have to sell product to you and to me on a tiny little screen. A few years ago, I took one of the last guided tours of the iconic LA Times building downtown LA. It housed one of the most celebrated newspapers, right, most respected newspapers in the country. When I touched the big brass door handles, I couldn't help but imagine who had crossed that threshold before me. Today, it's vacant. It's used to film movies and television. You're going to see it on Netflix. Journalism, which I studied here at FSU, is facing very different challenges than ever before and offering new opportunities for graduates. With the instantaneous distribution of news, the race is on to be first rather than right. And of course, does the audience care if it's right? And here's that small screen again. Journalists have to deliver the news of the world immediately on a small screen to users whose average attention span is 8 seconds long and somehow help us decipher truth from lies. While so much has changed, what hasn't changed are the dreams of graduates. They still just want to pursue their passions, find the work they can love, and do big things in their fields. Like me, a lot of students here are self-funding their education, working in restaurants up and down Route 9 and wearing their waitress uniform to class. 80+% of students here are on some form of financial aid. For many, it's a constant struggle to come up with next semester's tuition. Some choose to pay their tuition, but they're living in their cars and can't afford to eat. In fact, so many that, as you probably are aware, they opened a food pantry here on campus. When I heard that news, it opened my eyes. For them, I created a scholarship here called the Marcy Mills Dream Big Scholarship. And there's a bench on this campus with the words Dream Big on it. I hope that occasionally someone sits there to rest and sees that message and chooses to dream a little bigger and set their sights a little higher and ask for a little more. If you're lucky like me, you'll love what you do. Do it well, and I hope you make a lot of money. Be great at your work, but also do great things. When you aren't working, do things that matter in the world. Feed the hungry, house the homeless, run for office, pass a bill, change a law, clean up the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, make a film that tells an important story, mentor young people, create a scholarship. Do something that matters that will leave the planet better than when you found it. A few years ago, I discovered my purpose, doing what mattered most to me. It was an empty bike rack that caught my eye. I spent a lot of free time volunteering with the women and children in homeless shelters and group homes on LA's West Side. No doubt that you've heard about our exploding homeless population, right? You see it on the news. It's a housing crisis, it's a mental health crisis, and it's traumatic. Not just for the people living in it, but for those of us who drive by it every day and see people living in tents and see people eating out of trash cans. California is not a right to shelter state, so more people die of hypothermia in California than they do in Boston. It's true. Venice Community Housing builds and operates these safe havens for moms and kids. Women and kids show up at these places, usually escaping domestic violence or unlawful eviction or both, because, and you can't raise your hand as a homeless mom and ask for services in California because the state will immediately take your kids away. So typically they live in cars, maybe in a McDonald's parking lot, feeding them and bathing them there in the bathroom and getting them off to school until they can secure a spot in one of these group homes like this. While chants of "not in my backyard" from Angelians ring in the air prevent us from building low-income housing and shelters, these moms arrive in the night with their kids and a couple of trash bags of meager belongings. So when I was there one day, I noticed an empty bike rack. I thought, how can there be no bikes here? There's kids living here for up to a year of all ages, critical ages to ride a bike, right? Training wheels on, training wheels off. When you're a teen and preteen, you use them to socialize with other kids and get a job and go to school. I think that a bike breaks down economic barriers. For just a moment in time, maybe a poor kid has as much as a rich kid if they both have a bicycle. So I put together a small group of people I love with big hearts, and we started to collect gently used bikes around LA. It's amazing the bikes you find that aren't being used in rich people's garages. You ask a rich woman if she's got an extra bike to donate. She's like, I don't know. I'll look in my garage. I'll ask my husband. We might, right? You ask somebody who's poor if they got an extra bike lying around. They know. They don't have an extra bike. So we have cleaned, fixed, and delivered hundreds of bikes over the past 2 years. We've delivered so many bikes that as the moms and the kids move out of these shelters and into a low-income apartment of their very own, they can all take a bike with them. The homeless issue is a political flashpoint. People have strong opinions and they don't always share mine. But when it comes to moms and kids, most people want to help, which has made this one of the greatest experiences of my life. Not just the stories I've heard from the moms, like the kid who literally tried to take his bike to bed with him because now it was the only thing he owned, but because of the people I've met and the people I've inspired along the way. So today, I send you huge congratulations on your achievement. You clearly have started dreaming big already, or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here getting a graduate degree. Continue to dream big. I hope you follow your passions and love what you do and are great at it. But more than that, I hope you find your purpose. I hope you do great things that matter, and I hope you inspire others along the way.
Thank you so much, Marcy. That was fabulous. We've now reached the point in the program where we will officially award the degrees. President Nemi will certify the degrees, and they will be conferred by Trustee Foley. Will all students receiving master's degrees please stand?
Trustee Foley, it is an honor to present the candidates for the degree Master of Arts, Master of Education, and Master of Public Administration at Framingham State University for the conferral of their degrees. These individuals have met the appropriate requirements for the degree programs as prescribed by the faculty and the registrar and are entitled to all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
By the authority vested in me by the Massachusetts Department of Higher Education and the Board of Trustees of Framingham State University, I hereby confer upon you the appropriate master's degree and enter you into all its attendant rights and privileges. Congratulations to all.
Congratulations, everyone. It's now time for the hooding ceremony. Our interim dean of graduate and continuing education, Dr. Scott Greenberg, will assist our graduate program coordinators and advisors in hooding each graduate. Please note that there is a professional photographer who will be taking pictures of each graduate, so we request that the audience members remain in their seats so as to not obstruct the view of other guests.
Receiving the Master of Arts degree, concentration in counseling psychology, Natasha Camille Arroyo. Elise Valerie Carlson. Jesse Allen Chason. Katrina Marie Champa.
Daria Clancy.
Maria Teresa Di Matteo. Stacy Marie Gagan. Jared Paul Girton. John James Halliday. Ashley Caitlin Hemstreet. Ashley Clayna. Leslie Susan Miller. Melody Irene Nelson. Sarah Ann Poolman.
Aaron Pridgeon.
Tony Marie Resendez. Rafael Noguera Rodriguez. Ellen Marie Rose. Shelby Dawn Sharp. Neav Ione Smithers. Michael Paul Stornanti. Olivia Lynn Tripp. Kara L. Sambecos Mansfield. Receiving the Master of Arts degree, concentration in educational leadership. From our sites in Vicenza, Italy and Panama City, Panama. Eulalio Arcia Herrera. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in art. Ashley S. McClure. Martha Ellen Worthington. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in early childhood education. Sarah Catherine Bailey. Amy Maureen Hodgman. Erin Melinda Kartinen. Ji Wei Lee. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in early childhood education, specialization in initial licensure. Luz Nareda Paulino. Caitlin Rose Waters. Allison Bryden Yaker. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in educational technology. Hedda McCarthy Monahan.
Cassandra Dawn Rochello.
Kelly Fournier Taveras. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in elementary education. Julia Marie Catalano. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in elementary education, specialization in initial licensure. Renee Marie Abini McAvoy. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in international teaching. From our sites in Shanghai, China, Xiamen, China, San Jose, Costa Rica, Guatemala City, Guatemala, Monterrey, Mexico, Managua, Nicaragua, Saipan, Northern Marianas Islands, Panama City, Panama, Taipei, Taiwan, Bangkok, Thailand, and Port of Spain, Trinidad. Ayana Anastasia Alexis. Grace Michelle Cherubin Rodriguez.
Ana Maria Cruz Diarez.
Yacho Draw. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in literacy and language. Anna Catherine Murphy. Juliana Marie Nasso. Julia Ann Salerno. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in mathematics. Patricia Lynn Sears. Amy Ledbetter Adams. Lauren Antoinette Burkett.
Masters of Education, Nutrition Education Specialist. Lauren Antoinette Burkett. Heather Brayley Higgins. Thank you.
Kaylee Marie McNamara. Margaret Muriel Mead. Caitlin Elizabeth Whitaker.
Master of Education, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, Caitlin Elizabeth Whitaker.
Trisha Catherine Devlin. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in secondary education, specialization in art. Allison Louise Brown. Callan Catron. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in secondary education, specialization in English. Brianna Mary Corcoran. Spencer Michael Matthews. Todd Russell Vikstrom. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Colin Ross Kenley. Griffin Charles Marchand. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in special education, moderate disabilities. Brendan John O'Connor. Michelle Lynn Flom. Kayla Lynn Rice. Mark Steven Cervello. Lisa M. Soulier. Victoria Marie Wallace. Amanda Patricia Young. From our sites in San Pedro Sula, Honduras, Shenzhen, China, and our main campus in Framingham, Massachusetts. Receiving the Master of Education degree, concentration in teaching English as a second language. Sandra Kathleen Eckelman. Natalie Jane Erickson. Gretel Mansfield Koning. Cara Ann Faria.
Kira Ann Ferraria. Keisha A. Leach. Vanessa Rose Pendexter.
Sandra Michelle Planas Arevalo. Gabrielle Marlene Muna Borja. Receiving the Master of Public Administration degree, concentration in public administration. Holly Ann Arsenault. Julianne Marie Cox. Katie Elizabeth Darling. Lindsay Nicole Gray Janus. Nicole Marie LeVay. Sean Daniel Riley.
Congratulations to Master's graduates of Framingham State University.
Congratulations. You are now part of a very strong and ever-expanding network of alumni from Framingham State who play such a critical part in many of the Commonwealth's leading businesses and public sector organizations. We hope that you will stay engaged with your alma mater through alumni activities and take advantage of all the alumni benefits available to you. The commencement ceremony will now come to a close as we stand and join in singing Live to the Truth, performed by Heather Welch. The lyrics can be found on the back of your program. We encourage people to sing along. Dear Framingham, thy children round thee gather, our vows of love to thee we pledge anew, unfailing font of hope and joy forever, we shall proclaim our homage to you. Through countless years, to old fostering mother, thy bounteous blessings poured on age and youth. Thirst of blood bread till I'm a change to sever, will ever be, live to the truth, will ever be, live to the truth. Thank you to everyone who joined us today to celebrate our amazing graduates. Graduates' families and friends are invited to join us for a reception and light refreshments in the McCarthy Dining Annex. Please remain seated until the platform party faculty and graduates exit. Thank you so much, and congratulations to everyone.